Yeah,
Happy
give us a full
Wednesday!
five.
Happy Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. This is Crypto and Coffee. I'm Clutch Crypto and your host. And hey, guys, we're literally right back in the area that we started from that nice little drop we saw yesterday morning with New York Open. So let's jump into the charts real quick and see what it's going to look like for today. So, B. Wellington, we got the charts up.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think.
Yes. Yeah. So we got the charts up. One of the things that I will highlight because we are coming into a monthly close, we do have 3 days into the monthly close, which is significant, right? From a monthly perspective, we've had the high, we've come back down. We're kind of have this directional changing candle, volume stopping candle, however you want to put it. But depending on how this holds, we've been to the downside. This may be the catalyst for us to move back up. If we're looking at the monthly, we always look at the daily. If we go down and jump to the weekly, as you can see here, we've come up, into this area. So our highs at 48.39. We've tried to make a run for that. Of course, we can call this. Somewhat of a pump, but we've had, somewhat of a rejection on the weekly. What you'll also see is that, the EMAs have crossed to the downside. So we're right on the 50 on the weekly. And of course, we got 4 days left. So we've still got a lot of time left in this weekly. But this gives you a perspective because we're always going to the daily, but want to give you a better perspective of what's going on from a longer term standpoint. But here we are. We're right, as Clutch said, we're right back where we were at. Let me see. Where's my? Yeah, here's my chart with all the lines. So here's that daily trend line that we were talking about. We've hit it. We came under it a little bit. I'm sure we've got lots of orders on this end. This kind of being in the area where they're taking out stops for people that are buying on this line. So right now in a ranging market, what the trading philosophy is to, short or take profit or short on the top and to go long, right, on the bottom. So, be very
Cautious.
cautious, right? Because, if you've got people that are going short here, I wouldn't say that's a bad place to short, but we are on the bottom of this channel. It's an uncrowded trade, I would tell you that, because I think most people are going to go long. A lot of people are riding this short all the way down, but I think for those TA guys that have this line drawn in here, this is one of those lines in which people will come to. If we look at other points in the chart, I would say they'll probably look at this line here. Let me just change color. This red line is another area of support because we've had this support here. So we've had it hit 1, 2, 3 times, or at least 4 times. And so I think what will happen is that we'll get back into this area. We'll still have some vectors. And then from there, I think it'll also chop up here, try to instigate some people to buy the dip. But we've also had
for the estimate
here. And if you look,
okay, go to the estimate first, and then go to the address I sent you for the sprinkler report.
Then I think the next level you're going to look at is going to be in this 1835 area. So I think we'll have some pumps to the upside. This is kind of on the daily. This is a longer term perspective. So, nothing to trade off of, no information trade off today until we get to the lower time frames. But if we go to the hourly, which would be within the day, we've been ranging. So we came back up.
Hey, definitely show us what's happening on the 1 minute too. Looks like a golden cross is forming, or is it a rejection?
Well, that's the 1 minute. That could change every other minute. So this here, we obviously we came down this line as we anticipated. You had a lot of shorts that got squeezed. You also probably had a lot of mixture of people that are going long based upon this channel. We had somewhat of a pump, a fast move, got up to this 200, rejected all the way through the 50, comes back to the trend line. We've established our daily open. Our daily open was up in this area yesterday. Now we've got a daily open much lower at that 28.17. So I'd anticipate that we get back to the daily open at some point, but we've come back up, rejected off the 50. We're kind of holding at the 50 right now, below it. If we do come back up, I expect some higher volume candles, some vectors to come through here if it's going to break through. Otherwise, volume has really started to come off, and so as you can see here,
You have a false W right there too, right?
well, we have an invalidated W, so we came down for this leg, came back up, broke through. This leg being lower than this one is somewhat of an issue. So again, I would anticipate another move to the downside. We may get what they call the reverse head and shoulders, right? You've got one shoulder here. This can be considered a head since it broke through and came back, trapped a lot of the shorts here. Take out those shorts as far as the stops are concerned. Try to add to some long positions here, trap some longs, and now we're just ranging, right? So that's where we're at. So if we came down here, anticipated coming down here, maybe, part of the criteria for a reverse head and shoulders is that the third shoulder has to come past the first shoulder. So if that's the case, then you would anticipate, us around this 27.77 range, at some point. Again, it's a theory relative to reverse head and shoulders. The structure really doesn't look all that great for a head and shoulders, but that's just something to keep in mind. But I do think we'll get back here in this daily open, at some point, and then possibly moving back up. I mean, today's Wednesday, right? We've had, a downside yesterday during the New York session. And so, it'll either be a continuation of that downside or a reversal that might bring us up to squeeze out some of these shorts, build some more longs. But ultimately, I think that, the trend is to the downside. In lower time frames, it's 8:42 our time. So New York should be open as far as the futures market should be open. And, we've got a little bit of pump at the open, which could, again, be a stop hunt. So we'll just have to, give it some time to progress. On the 14-minute, we are at the 200. But again, this daily open is looming here. It's my opinion, and of course, it's my opinion, not financial advice. Any moves to the upside, and we're at the pivot point. I think we're ultimately going to end back up at this daily open. We can go to the 1 minute, like you suggested, and
That's
let's
right.
take a look at what we have.
Look at it.
And look at it. And again, we've got, some vectors coming through the 200, which is a positive sign, moving up. And so we've got this this wick that came up here. So at least anticipate getting up to this wick. We're only talking, $5-6. We've got, these peaks up here as well. So this is the London Brinks here, which came up, brought it back down. But we've been ranging in this area, so we haven't brought it down yet. So that would tell me that we're probably got some movement to the upside.
I mean, this all looks like a little prime to move up a little bit. I see already, maybe for some big short-term action towards the later of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's we can take a look at what we have.
Matter of fact, I don't know, I might get in a long right
You're
now.
looking for a long right now. Yeah, 7.5 billion in OI, right? So OI has really remained stable around that 7.4 billion. Let me refresh this to make sure. We still got kind of a mixed board relative to, this the short interest versus long interest, and so
were these all red yesterday?
There was a mixture. I think in the beginning it was, everything was negative. I think part of it is buying the dip, right? And, also, with OI as far as leverage being at 7.4 billion, I think we've got a lot more spot. And so it'd be interesting if we could see what spot was doing because spot is not reflected in this. The only thing that spot's reflected in is if the futures is less than the spot price, then you have a lot of this negative funding, right? Mm-hmm. And then opposite when you have long funding, so it's backwardation versus the other term, but just it fails me at this time. But but yeah, I think you got a lot of spot that bought there. You've got a lot of perps that got caught in the longs and so or in the shorts. And so I think we might have a spot rally to take out some of these shorts until they switch over, and then you're going to have probably more movement to the downside. If we look at the economic calendar, we look at this every day, but today is the 27th. It is Wednesday. So we do have pending sales reports coming out at 10 a.m. rental vacancy rate. So these would be important to get an idea of what the real estate markets are doing as well, which is a big part of the economy. Markets themselves are now fully open. We can look at some of the headlines here as well. We've got some pumping on the open, which is surprising. European gas prices have surged 28% since Russia halted supplies to Poland and Bulgaria. I think the deal there, and then oil's back up over $100, so oil's up, market's up, Bitcoin's up. I mean, oil is down comparatively. It's back over $100. Gold is down. The big deal on the energy markets right now is Russia's saying that you have to pay for natural gas in rubles, and I guess they haven't, and so Russia's halted supplies there. They're trying to spin this as a positive thing because then they say, okay, this will expedite the process of them finding additional natural gas supplies otherwise and transition away from Russia. And so all that's being in place. We got to be careful here with this early pump to make sure this is not a stop hunt to the upside before it continues back to the downside. But, I do think we have some upside potential moving forward. If we take a look at Exo charts, which we look at the period of range here, it's from April 10th to April 27th as far as the sessions are concerned. POC is up at 30.33. We're down here in this value area range. And so just looking at it and some of what, the kind of net longs and net shorts that's being produced on the Exo charts. Of course, this is Bybit. So we've got a bunch of shorts. The shorts are being, and I guess both of them, the longs as well. But, we're just being whipsawed around. So every time it gets to a certain point, certain levels, it's starting to turn. And, right now, I think they're exhausting some of the perp market. But you see how the shorts are reacting a lot more than what the longs are doing. And so, you've got a lot of activity on the short side, which is giving us these pumps in the market, these short-term pumps in the market. But really, from looking at it, I don't see any volume coming in, so that's not a big deal. The wave off. It's not your play yet. All right, Clutch. Well, from that standpoint, let's see what Bookmap and HighBlock are doing for the
let's do it.
For the shorter term perspective.
Let's see. Let me know when you can see that.
I can see it.
Wow, this is incredible. It's actually working this morning. Anyway, okay, as you can see here, this is HighBlock Capital with ETH, something we go through every day. We were right here, I believe in this area yesterday morning. We had just come back up. We were possibly looking about going down. Anyways, now we are down over here, negative 3.4 billion. So something that I saw that was pretty interesting, I was looking at this earlier, and zoom in here so you can really see it, and it's this. All of this, both ways, man, people I think are really trying to get this market turned around to where it will go up, because there's a whole bunch of green dots which are buyers right here. Buyers, 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 buyers. Very few short guys showing up here to the party. As you can see, this is a really big open gap. Normally they like to get it nice and clustered in here. So I'm actually anticipating that we're going to see a bunch of ranging happen in this area today. So we're looking all the way from kind of where we're at now in the 2900 area, all the way down to, high 2700 area. So I don't think we're going to see a whole bunch of price action today, to be honest with you. I really don't. Do pay attention. We have a big liquidation up here at 28.65, which we should have just crossed. Let me refresh this and make sure that all this is currently updating. Maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe so. 1 minute.
Did you hop into a long? I saw you fucking with your phone.
I put a long order in down at 28.74, I think. I'll tell you why in a minute. Oh, okay. Sorry. This needed to update and refresh. Okay, so again though, let's zoom in here. This looks a lot better, by the way, because I was like, man, this doesn't make sense. And zoom in right here. I can tell you right now. So this last move up, you just see a bunch of longs. There's going to be a reversal happen at some point. How high do they want to go up before they start the reversal? You know, that's anyone's deal. But as you can see on this side, there's a whole bunch of longs that got trapped, right? A lot of people going long here. A lot of people going long here. You have this big wick to probably flush those guys out yesterday. So I would expect a pump to a certain point, and then us come crashing down again, which is right in line with what you said earlier today on the show. Let's just refresh this one more time to get, man, I should have gotten that long. I was looking at it at 2,900. Key points to pay attention to today, guys, is going to be 3,021. We break that, we break into a new high. And then down here in this area, 2750, 60 area, if we break below that last wick that we had, can expect some more movement to the downside. This is Bookmap over here. Get this loaded up. As you can see, we're kind of working in this session volume profile that's kind of sticking out here around 2916 area. A lot more orders are slowly starting to pop up to the upside, which is just telling me that they're wanting to bring price up a little bit. So again, hey, like we just spoke about, we're probably going to likely see price go up to a certain point and then get rejected and start coming down. And it's also a good indicator that we're probably going to see some choppiness as well. As you can see here, we have our differential price is starting to try to cross below the CVD, which is also a good positive indicator that if this holds, it doesn't get rejected, that we're going to see some movement to the upside as well. So this is kind of anyone's game right now. We have some heavy orders up here at 2950. Pay attention to that. Let me zoom out here just a little bit. I do apologize for the delay, but we've been collecting a lot of data so we can really give you guys a good long-term information here. So 2950, and then we don't have another big heavy order till about 3,000, 3050. On the downside, we're looking at the heaviest of them all, 20 down to 2,700. So pay attention to see what, if you can see here, they just pulled this 2950 here right in front of us. It was right here, just, literally when I first started talking. Now it's disappeared. So pay really close attention to what happens here pretty quickly. I think we're about to see a big move here in just a second. Orders heavy to the upside right here. I think people are trying to take orders at this point. Where we go from here, I'm not sure yet. So pay real close attention to what happens. Why we're in this current range right now, because I think we're about to do exactly what we did on yesterday's show. I think we're about to see a big move upside or downside here momentarily, probably within the next 10-15 minutes. So keep your eye out, and that's all I have for today.
Yeah, no, we, just kind of from looking at everything and the activity on Bookmap, I don't know, if you look at it, we've made this fast move up to the, to where we're at. Is it enough in order to induce some of these?
I think it's really going to be a choppy day, though. Today's Wednesday.
Every day has been choppy. What are you talking about?
Well,
We've been hitting that wood, dog.
We'll see what happens.
We're gonna hit that wood, but yeah, no, I agree with you. I think we'll have another choppy day. I think, But who knows? I think this little move that we had to the upside may have been a little trappy because we're going into the 9 o'clock hour, 30 minutes after the futures open. We kind of broke the last high that we were in, but we pulled back sharply, but hadn't gone anywhere, at that point. So looks like that looks like that was somewhat of a trappy move. So we reject it off of the psychological low as well.
And then you can see right here, we rejected off of this too. So we may be heading to the downside, guys. Maybe I'll jump in that short.
maybe put away.
But that's all we have for today, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, 8:15 Central Standard Time. And, we normally are about 10 minutes late. So we'll see you between then and 8:30.